Hello everyone, Autismo Dynamite is back for another video. And today is a very special video for me, in more ways than one. So obviously throughout my entire throughout the 3 months I've been doing videos on this channel, I've primarily dedicated a lot of my time to doing like boxing related content, right? You know, I've had 13 videos of Autismo analysis, where I give my thoughts on boxing stuff. I've done 3 live streams. I've done plenty of shorts or stuff. Point is, the channel this channel is primarily like a boxing channel. But and obviously like I said in my video reacting to Floyd Mayweather vs Manny Pacquiao 2 happening, despite their ages, I always talked about how boxing is a crazy sport and there's always something to talk about every week. And you're probably thinking this week you're going to get something, today you're going to get something else. But I feel like there is an aspect to the channel which people are forgetting. And it's that this channel is called the Autismo Dynamite. And you can probably guess by that name, and the fact that it's on my back, I mean, right here, if you can see it, I am autistic. I had been diagnosed since the age of 1. And I guess today, I kind of wanted to talk about me having autism and my experiences throughout the years, I guess. Because number one, Autism Awareness Month is coming up in a few days from which I'm recording this. And secondly, also, as someone who has autism, I feel like it's kind of important. I feel like I kind of want to be. I kind of want to be like kind of like among the greats or whatever, like you have like Mozart, who was, I believe, autistic. You have Einstein, who's assumed autistic. Like, I want to be one of those like role models who, I guess, I want to set a great example for like people with autism and be like an inspirational figure, I guess. And I know me saying that sounds cocky, but I guess that's the best way I could describe the whole point of this. And I guess it's also, while I don't necessarily want autism to define me, I guess it's something that I always want. I guess something that I've always wanted to embrace, and I guess it's also probably one of the inspirational things for how I got my boxing alias, which I like, the Autismo Dynamite. Actually, and you know what? I'll even show you. You may have gotten a glance of this, in my sparring video if you saw that, but you probably didn't, so I might as well just properly show you. So these are boxing gloves I got like 2 years ago for Christmas. Actually, no, 1 year ago. Yeah. Yeah. The Autismo Dynamite. Left, right. I guess the whole idea of the name was right. Was simply just the left hand. Well, I guess the idea was my autism's going to bring me to victory by destroying you, I guess. Well, I know that's going to sound cheesy, but I guess it was the whole idea. My autism's what gives me power, I guess. And obviously, like, with a name that ridiculous, I guess, obviously people are gonna and do still make fun of me for that name, thinking it's stupid. But honestly, if people are fine with Tyson Fury being called the Gypsy King, I don't really see what's wrong with me being called the Autismo Dynamite. Like, it's a stand-up, like, it's an iconic name from something generic. I don't know, the Bulldozer or TNT, or simply just like think. Like, what do you think is going to sound more like stand out when you hear someone's name introduced? Like, pretend I'm Michael Buffer, and I'm like, introducing someone, and I'm like, which one do you think is going to be more iconic? And now coming to the ring, the Autismo Dynamite, Joe Jones. Now this. Now coming to the ring, Joe Dynamite Jones. Like, do you, like if like being real, which one do you think would be more memorable? Because like, I guess it's also like a whole like ploy to, and I'll just be really upfront with it. It's basically just also a bit of a ploy to get attention, I guess, because in a crazy sport like boxing, like you kind of do need a bit of a profile in order to get those big fights. Like the reason why Jaya Bhatia can't get like fights with like Zuna Ramirez or whatever is primarily because like while he's a great fighter, arguably the best cruiserweight right now, he's not really that big commercially. So he's not really that kind of guy who can get those kind of fights. So I feel. And again, I'm not saying this with wanting like autism to define me. I don't want it to be like the thing that people take away from my character. I want people to just judge me based off me as a human being, not just off of a disability I was diagnosed with. But I guess it. While I don't want it to define me, I also don't. I also want to be upfront with it because I don't want to ignore it as part of my personality, I guess. So yeah, and people will make fun of me for it still, no matter what I do, but I just don't really give a fuck what other people think. All right, it's my name, and I can do what the fuck I want with it. All right, so yeah, and later on, I am probably going to talk about my personal thoughts of my autism. But for now, I actually thought I'd quickly get thoughts on two people who have basically helped me ever since I was born, and that is my parents. So yeah, I am gonna cut it here, and I'm gonna let my parents talk to you about the origins and also experiences with little Autismo.
Hi, I'm Micah. I'm Joe's mum.
I'm Chris.
Joe's dad.
Isn't that obvious? So Joe wants us to talk about how Joe got diagnosed, and I think Mike has probably got more to do with it than I have in terms of like getting on with it and sort of fighting for it, and also recognising something was not quite right.
Well, I think looking back, I think it started before you were a year. You're very different to Finley. Something was off with just the way you bonded with me. Then I would say at about 13 months, I thought you might be deaf.
And he wasn't talking, was he?
You weren't making no attempt to talk.
Some animal noises at best.
And some very bizarre throat noises.
Yeah.
And I was at my mum's, and she got a conservatory, and Joe was playing with some stones outside the conservatory. I said, "Mum, watch this," and I banged on the conservatory door to get Joe's attention and shouted it, and he didn't even look up. And I was like,
same when he'd be
"That's not right."
Not quite asleep, but sort of asleep in the car, and if you banged on the window,
just nothing, no response
at all.
So we sort of, the health visitor was involved with checking his developmental milestones, which he wasn't reaching. He was really behind. We had a hearing test done, which didn't go very well. The one inconclusive, because Joe did not want to play ball.
So we had to wait 6 weeks and have exactly the same one done again.
Yep.
And it was weird because they started loud and went quieter.
Yeah.
I was like, well, just starting the quiet ones, and then you'd know if you can hear the quiet ones or not.
He did not play ball with that one either.
He got bored, yeah.
Did not want to do it. So he had to go to hospital and had to be basically knocked out, which took
about 4 hours after being sedated.
Had
before he went
enough
sleep.
to put a horse to sleep.
Yeah.
And then like a probe thing on his head to check his hearing, which came back actually he's got perfect hearing.
That was to check the brain activity, wasn't it? It's like the gold standard is that you
Of
take
hearing.
everything else out of it. So it's
Yeah.
if the brain can then hear it while you're
Yeah.
unconscious, there's brain activity.
And his was, very, very good, which we know now because you can whisper something and Joe hears it wherever he is.
Bat hearing.
Um,
So then they said, do we need to go and look at paediatrics?
yeah, so we had to go down the road of perhaps whether it was autism, although that was never really said, was it? Especially back then when there weren't that many diagnosed with autism, not like now. He was already receiving speech and language therapy. By this point, he was about 2.5, and still no speech. And just developing in a very different way. And then the doctor that came to see him was Dr. Wearmouth, who was basically a country leading specialist, wasn't she?
Yeah. Yeah, and she went through the 11, it was, I think the diagnosis tests have changed now, but it was 11 questions and Joe scored, I think, 7 out of 11. And I think if you score more than 1, then you're technically on the spectrum.
Yeah, and afterwards she said, I literally walked in within 30 seconds. I could have told you he was autistic just by the way Joe behaved. He was forever taking his clothes off, always naked. We got thrown out of soft play before in Halsham because he was decided to take his clothes off, which a few years later, it finally twigged that Joe would take, as soon as his shoes came off, his clothes also came off. So when he used to get home, his shoes would come off, his clothes would come off.
Yeah, he was always naked.
He was always naked. Wherever we went, everywhere, in any public place, the clothes were off. So that was quite tricky because it wasn't, even though we're only going back, 10,
12 years.
12 years, yeah, it wasn't like it is now. So that was quite an experience, especially as I was quite a young mum. So it was quite tough.
I think we got a bit upset with how the doctor said that we should react after she gave the diagnosis, weren't we?
Yeah.
She said it was a Friday, and she said that we should not contact any of our immediate family over the weekend.
Yeah.
And then she also said that we should mourn the Joe that we thought we had, and then try and accept the Joe that we've got. Which
almost go through a
which
grieving
actually
process.
made me really angry because we've never treated Joe differently. As everything we've done in the family hasn't been because Joe's got autism. He's been part of the family, so for us it didn't really make any difference. If we go to Drusilla's, yes, we knew we had to be to
mindful
of the family unit. Yeah. But if we were going to go and do something, Joe came along. It wasn't Joe. We didn't allow the label of autism to define what we were doing on a day.
But I think Joe has done that.
Absolutely, he's always
been his own person.
Exactly that.
And pushed himself because Joe's got sensory processing disorder, which also made it difficult to go to loud places. It mainly tires him out, or used to tire him out. He was very, very violent when he was little. I got several beatings. But again, just because he was autistic was something that we weren't going to tolerate. And just because you're autistic does not mean you can't learn. It does not mean that you are not very clever, which Joe is. So he learned, and now he's the biggest, apart from his boxing, biggest gentle giant you'd ever meet, and would hate to hurt somebody intentionally unless it was in the ring. You'd agree with that, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I had my fair share of beatings. Again, actually, it was Drusilla's we were driving back from, and I think he was sitting behind me, and just beat me in the back of the head. And we just had to. That was a battle we decided not to try and win, and we just ignored that one.
Yeah.
Pick your battles and whatnot, but it was a little bit painful.
We're heavily pregnant.
Yeah.
Yeah, had lots of boots in the stomach. Bless him.
And then I think just once we knew we had the diagnosis, it set a few things. The nursery were very good, weren't they? They immediately employed someone that was going to then be Joe's one-to-one
Especially for
at
him.
school,
Yeah.
especially for him, which was good for his transition, and he was really well supported through all of school.
Yeah,
But that was 'cause
we
you-
got him a
that-
statement.
That's because you were on it and fought for it, and although I think we were very fortunate that the council were very supportive, it was due really to you.
Constant
Constantly
phoning, trying to
going
get you that statement, or it's the HCP now ready for when you started school in September. But every step of the way, they've said Joe won't be able to do this and he won't be able to do that, and he might not be toilet trained, he might not get GCSEs, and
when we were looking for
every
secondary
single
schools,
step,
and we went to see one
he
special school,
succeeded it.
and they said, "Oh, last year we had a student that got a GCSE," and we decided, although that we didn't know,
Yeah,
we thought Joe could achieve more than that. And how
he's
many
got 8.
did you get? Yeah, was it 8 GCSEs? I think Joe got, and on a good grades as well. So
Yeah.
it's amazing.
Yeah, and now doing
And now
A-levels and going on
A-levels.
to uni, hopefully. So, yeah, every single, it just shows his tenacity, and yeah, couldn't be prouder. And his diagnosis doesn't define him, but does make him just the most brilliant outside-the-box thinker that we could have ever hoped for.
Yeah. If you ever want to know anything about boxing, or in the past Yu-Gi-Oh,
Yeah,
if you wanted to ever kill an hour, that
Yeah.
was Joe. Tell me about this monster.
yeah. Yu-Gi-Oh!
And in fact, I know it was an hour because there was a John, what's the pizza? Papa John's Pizza, which was in Hastings, and I took Joe with me, and he talks about one card from here to there, and I thought, well, we're here now. At least we might be able to talk about something else on the way back. Oh no, there was more. The whole way back.
Oh, yeah,
Just
that was
one
the other
monster.
thing. Joe used to, his speech came along because he would learn the film. So he'd learn phrases from the film, and he'd copy and paste those films to make conversation.
Almost his first word was the whole of the opening scene of Toy Story 3.
Toy Story 3. Yeah, he could do the whole thing.
The train.
And people used to say to me, goodness, he's got some articulate sentences. I was like, what has he said? And they'd say it to me. I'm like, yeah. that's
from
this
In the
film.
Night Garden.
that's
from
that.
Peppa
That's
Pig,
from that.
or that's from there.
But yeah, he's got the most amazing memory. The whole of the periodic table he learnt.
Yeah.
Obviously, all the boxing stats he knows is just incredible.
Pick a film and you'll tell you the director and the year it was made.
Yeah.
And you can be some random films as well.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, he's just wonderful.
He is indeed.
Couldn't be prouder of him. And it just shows that it doesn't define you. It can just make you more and more awesome. Never let it hold you back. It's not about Joe holding back, that's for sure.
All good?
Thank you, Mum and Dad, for doing that. You didn't have to really talk about me being stripping naked and that, but nonetheless. But anyway, moving on to more serious things. So I guess I wanted to conclude this video with just me talking about like my personal stuff, or my personal take on me, my journey as an autistic diagnosed kid. So as far as I can remember, I was diagnosed around the age of 1 or 2, but I first knew about me being autistic when I was like 9 years old. I was going into year 5 at primary school, and my parents thought at that age it was probably finally time to let me know like something about me that I kind of guess never really knew about. And I have questioned them in the past why they never really told me about this in the past, but I guess it was probably because at that age I probably wouldn't have understood much about it, so I guess I can't really blame them for not telling me sooner. But I was told around the ages of I was told around the age of 9, going into year 5. I actually remember once calling it autoism or something like that. I definitely mispronounced it once also, but I got the hang of it. And yeah, and I guess going into I think it was primarily going into secondary school, but I feel like a lot of my experience as a mentally disabled, I don't like to call it mentally disabled because I don't like to think of autism as necessarily a mental disability, but I guess like a neurological implement, I guess. Going into secondary school, I obviously was involved in a whole like learning support system to aid me with my autism, which luckily for me, I feel like honestly helped me out a lot during my time at secondary. Unfortunately, within just year 7, that was during like the COVID era, so that it was like a massive period of time where I just couldn't interact with anyone. But nonetheless, I was like at minimum put in a group of like 3 other people, at max like I think it was like 6 of us, but yeah, by the time I was like year 10 and 11. And to be fair, like I wouldn't say we got on the best like early on, like with year 7, 8. I guess I was probably like a lot more cocky back then, thinking with how clever I was, I guess, as my mum pointed out earlier in the video. But I think like as the years came on, I think I guess I really got along with my learnings, and I guess I got, actually can't really. I'm not gonna name names, but honestly, I can't really credit them enough for helping me develop confidence. Because honestly, they've really helped me. I guess they've really helped me develop confidence in, and I guess also develop like maybe not the best social skills in the world because I'm still a bit awkward around people, but like having people to talk to that like understand, like not necessarily understand you, but have something similar to you, like it was honestly like kind of hard to explain because it's been so it kind of feels like it's been so long now, and honestly I actually wish I could go, honestly do miss those times because it was almost on I'm not actually feel like I'm about to sorry, honestly it was like some of the best times of my I've had at school or whatever, or from my life, and um and I guess along with that, I guess it helped me interact with other people, like early on, like year 7, 8, or whatever, and maybe also 9 and 10. I was primarily in an learning support area for break and lunch, but I guess as I got older, I got more confident and I was more willing to venture out into new territory. And don't get me wrong, some of my friendships did end up going a bit rocky. Some of them didn't. A lot of them haven't ended well, but it's led me to the current friendship group I have now. And honestly, I can't actually with the people who I do still get along with, and to the people who I get along with now. I honestly can't thank them enough for how much they've helped me throughout my years. Like I remember most of the time I would usually just hang out alone. When it's like on the in primary school on the field, I'd usually just hang out alone, and I cannot thank my friends enough for what they've done for me. Oh my god, for what they've helped me to develop as, like, even going into like college or whatever, like I think it was like, yeah, it was August when I got my results. But actually if we rewind a bit, like I remember, like, obviously you probably remember back earlier that my parents talked about how I was predict I don't think I was they thought I could get a GCSE, so and you have year 10 or going into year 11 where I got my first 2 GCSEs, which was media and geography, and okay, I got a pass on media, but I unfortunately did fail my geography, which I got a 3 in. And I just remember when I saw that, I honestly just was fucking devastated, like, after all the work I'd done. And literally, no matter how many times... Oh my God. No matter how many times my mum tried to perk me up from that, I honestly just felt so shit for how bad... For all the work. Like, my teacher thought I could get a 5, and to not even get a 4 was just absolutely fucking devastating for me. And, you know, at least, luckily, eventually I did get over it. But still, I just couldn't believe what had happened. But, to be honest, I only really picked geography because I didn't want to do history. And it was either that or geography, so fair enough. But anyway, then going into year 11, where I finally finished my GCSEs, and I end up doing really well. I got like at least a 4 on like everything I did from there. And to be fair, looking back, I remember not really giving much of a shit. I was like, yeah, I'll pass. Good. But yeah, honestly, my mum was honestly so proud of me, considering, like, looking, like, honestly, me thinking about it, I'm like, I just didn't really think it was much of a big deal or like the biggest deal in the world. But honestly, for mum, it was such a crowning achievement for me. Looking back at, oh my God, looking back at how I was predicted to have done. Oh my God. Sorry, I didn't actually expect to break down or like get emotional in this video. I really tried to compose myself. But honestly, yeah, it was. She was so proud of me for what I was able to do, and A levels honestly have been such a fucking bitch right now. Like, it's been so hard trying to manage everything that's been going on. I didn't think it'd be much of a big deal going into it, but it ended up being so fucking hard. And it is still fucking hard. Like, it's like a month away from me doing my first proper exam, and I'm just really hoping it goes well. But honestly, whether it goes well or not, I cannot even comprehend how grateful I am for all the help I've gotten over the years, and all the help I do still get. But anyway, I'm gonna stop the video now because I'm actually feel like I don't want to calm down a bit, but I just want to say that autism is never going to define me, but I'm proud to be autistic, and if there's anyone watching this who are autistic, you should be fucking proud to be to be one of us, I guess. Because look, some people call us special for maybe like negative connotation, but no, it's not negative fucking connotation. It shows that we're unique and we are fucking great people, and I'm so grateful for people who have not judged me for that. I'm gonna sign off now. So yeah, thank you for watching. And if you're watching this on the day I'm trying to get this on Happy Autistic Awareness Month. Bye.